This is the plaintiff, Aisha Staves-Monsey. She says she rented a house from the intimidating defendants who threatened her and eventually evicted her. She had to hire a lawyer because what the defendants did was illegal. They still owe her money for her security, and she's here in the good name of justice, seeking the $2,850 she says she's owed. These are the defendants, David and Henry. David says the plaintiff was legally evicted because she was running an illegal business out of the dwelling. The plaintiff left trash, debris from the illegal business, and damage to the driveway when she vacated, and they simply don't owe her a penny. They're accused of being mean landlords.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff rented a house from the defendants and claims that they threatened to wrongly evict her. But the defendants say the eviction was on the up and up and the plaintiff was running an illegal business at the house. It's the case of eviction affliction.
Okay. Can you step to the left a little bit because you're right. Also, can you take your sunglasses off? Thanks. Okay, Ms. Staves-Monsey, you were renting from B&B Investment?
Yes.
Was there ever a lease?
Yes.
May I see it?
I do not have it.
Do you have a lease?
I have the second lease, the first lease. And the second lease kind of explains what the first lease included.
Well, how much was the security deposit?
It was $1,000 deposit and $950 for the first month's rent, or last month's rent.
So it's $1,000 security deposit and $950. You lived there for how long?
5 years. Actually, 4.5 years. Would have been December if I wouldn't have got illegally evicted. So yeah, December.
Okay. Now, when you say you were illegally evicted, what does that mean?
Well, he filed an illegal eviction on me.
How so? What made it illegal?
Well, he said that I was non-compliant with the code enforcement.
Because?
Because he says that my son was operating a mechanic shop within the home.
Chop shop?
Yeah, no.
In front, working on cars in front of the house?
Yeah, he was working on motors in the garage.
And why did he say that? Do you know?
Because it was new neighbors that moved in 2018. And of course, they complained about my son being outside.
To who did they complain?
To the code enforcement.
And code enforcement then issued warnings to them. So what is illegal about the eviction?
The eviction was, the reason why they said it was illegal was because I did not pay rent, and I paid rent. But then he changed it once he got to court with his attorney.
That's not an attorney.
Well, that's what he represented himself in June. And my attorney—
To the court?
Yeah.
No.
My attorney verified it.
No, Your Honor, never.
Yes, he was his co-defender or representative, because I had an attorney.
Well, but did he say I'm an attorney?
Yeah, that's what my attorney informed me. Well, he's here with his attorney, and I would look down and I was like, well, this looks like the guy that's been walking around my home. Like, who is this? Because I have cameras. My son put cameras up. And so we were like, why does this guy keep coming up to the house? He's coming there. He's not leaving notes. He's just looking to see what's going on. So when we got to court June 1st or June 3rd to contest the eviction, we saw him.
Well, what happened at that contest?
Well, it was dismissed due to the terms of me moving out on August the 31st.
That's called a settlement. That's not
Well, it was a settlement,
right.
But he said that if I didn't sue him for my attorney fees in court in June, that he would allow for us to stay to August the 31st.
So then why are you suing for attorney's fees today?
Well,
because he allowed you to stay, and you stayed a day later, and then you're suing him for the attorney's fees today, too.
The only reason why I stayed a day later was because Mr. Henry refused to verify my rental history, and I have proof showing that the place where I rented to was trying to verify rental history.
That's a you problem. Get out and go somewhere else for a day.
Which is true.
You don't get to stay a day.
It was a storm.
How many days past the agreement did you stay?
2 days.
Oh, well, you don't get to stay 2 more days there. You got to go couch surf.
Well,
because your agreement was to stop and listen. Your agreement was to leave a certain day, and you violated the agreement.
Well,
not they violated the agreement. He let you stay there until then.
Okay, well that's
and
fine.
the deal was that in return for that, you wouldn't seek your attorney's fees, and yet you've come here seeking $900 in attorney's fees.
Well, the only reason why I included that, because on his itemized billing, he's charging me $1,500 for attorney fees. Attorney fees for—
In his itemized billing, where?
This bill right here, the reason why he's keeping my deposit.
Okay, give me what you've got. So this is the document that you filed, the notice of intent, which Florida law requires, saying I'm keeping your security deposit and here's why. And in it, you talk about, it's very hard for me to read this. Can I see the original?
Yeah, it's going to be just as bad.
Where's the original? Where are your leases? Where are your originals? Who do you save them for if not me? Where are they? Can't find them?
I went through a really nasty divorce, and unfortunately, my ex-wife kept all my business documents.
Okay. Damages. $100 for garage cleaning?
Yes.
Pull the specific pictures of the garage cleaning out for me to look at.
So
Is this garage cleaning, or is this what you meant?
So this was at the driveway.
Okay.
And we had a hurricane that was coming. So she moved the stuff back into the garage because she hadn't scheduled for the day that she was supposed to move out, or the day before she was supposed to move out when they do bulk.
So this is her garbage on September 5th. Which hurricane?
And
Dorian.
Dorian. What is this stuff? Is it just garbage?
Yeah, we cleaned out the whole house, painted, and it's just garbage that we were getting rid of.
Right, but why didn't you get rid of the garbage?
Because there was a truck. It was supposed to be a heavy. It was the first of the month, so that on Wednesday they come through with the heavy trash and pick up the heavy trash. Because of the storm,
Either that or you can go to the dump, which
delayed.
is a pain. I know it's a pain to go to the dump, but there is another solution.
It wasn't
Get
a
your
pain,
stuff out in
but I had
time.
already scheduled for the dump to come pick it up. Like
3
the
days
city.
into September. Like, let me just tell you how it's supposed to work. This is what other people do. They're supposed to be out a certain day, then they get out a certain day. And that may include inconvenience to you, which means that you got to go to the dump. You understand? In any event. You were also keeping $1,500 for the driveway repair. Who wants to talk about that?
The driveway was damaged for the
First,
driveway
I'd like to see the
repair.
pictures of it. So I'd like to see before and after pictures to see if it was damaged or it came damaged.
There is
Well, I don't have a quote-unquote before picture.
from 5 years ago. We don't have that, Your Honor.
But when I
You
bought,
should always, as a landlord, let me just tell you, that particularly because your phone takes pictures, you should always have pictures of the way you hand a place to a tenant so that you have the comparison to show that, hey, they damaged it.
Here's the other picture.
I wonder what on earth even caused that, because it's not a car that caused
it was on
that
blocks.
was from blocks and them
Yeah.
working on the cars, and we have several days of surveillance with photographs documenting that.
Do you have surveillance photographs that show blocks on this part?
You can see the cars. I don't know if you, I'll show you the photographs. There's
Let me see
plenty.
them. You have pictures that you say are from when you moved in, and you are saying that this particular, because I want to show you the particular damage we're talking about. That's the damage we're talking about. You see what part of the house that is? Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you suggesting that that was that way when you got the house?
Yes.
So this is the one picture that you're talking
Before.
about that, according to you, shows the cracks they're talking about. Certainly shows cracks in the driveway in a lot of places. All right, so now you're also asking for $1,500 in legal fees on what, on the eviction?
I retained.
Why did you just point to him? You retained him to what?
I retained him to go do surveillance and try to help me solve the 9 different code violations.
Okay. When you say resolve the code violations, are you out any money because of it? Like, did they fine you?
They did not find me that anything that I had to pay.
Okay.
But to also to get her evicted, I had to hire this gentleman to help represent me for.
He can't
the
represent
eviction.
you in an eviction.
Yeah, he can.
Can you?
No,
Because last I heard, that was a lawful practice of law in the state of Florida, because I'm from Florida.
I'm not representing him. He hired me.
He just said he hired you to represent him.
But to try to resolve the problem, I think the first thing I did was.
Did you say I am representing him when you got to the court?
No. No, Your Honor. I never,
he thinks you're representing him.
I never represented myself as an
And
attorney.
look at him,
in
he's in
front of the court.
shock. He's like, I thought he could represent me. That's what I hired him for. How much did you pay him to represent you in court?
Well, not to represent me in court, try to resolve the problem. It's
Okay, yeah, now you know what the company line is? All right,
But
what
that's
is
very
blind?
important.
Stop. What is this blinds? Is that the other word here, blinds?
Yes.
$20? Okay, and then, I don't know what this says. Oh, lawn.
Yeah,
lawn.
there was a lawn maintenance issue with the, also in non-compliance as well.
Are you saying that you had to pay for the lawn maintenance between July and August?
Yes.
No, listen, I want you to stop talking, and I want you to talk. This is your handwriting, right?
I can't even see that. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You made me take my glasses off.
No, I thought you knew I was reading your notice of intent to keep
Yes,
the security
I did-
button.
I did
That's
write-
you.
that's
Okay, so
correct.
what did you mean when you said lawn maintenance July and August? You paid in July.
Yes.
And you paid in August. So she's
Correct.
still living there and you're paying for lawn maintenance.
Correct.
Is she supposed to pay for lawn maintenance?
No, she's supposed to actually do the lawn maintenance, whether she pays it or not, pays somebody to do it or
Right.
not.
So
it
she's
just needs
supposed to
get it
maintain
done.
is what I meant.
That's correct.
All right. His glasses are prescription, so you can't see, but why are they
Here you go.
dark?
It's on the
Because of
phone.
our lights?
Lights give me
Make them dark? They're gradient?
migraine headaches.
Go ahead, you can put it back on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I do see proof that they paid.
Just, can I see that lease again?
Why don't you keep a copy of it, like, you know, in a way that you can access it? But what is it for? Because she
Because
admits.
I wanted to show you section 15 that shows that she's responsible for any legal fees or any other fees that are reasonable in case of eviction or anything.
And you are correct about that.
Thank you.
Can you show me proof that you had $1,500 in legal fees?
Beyond just the actual invoice that
That what?
it's like a retainer fee
From who?
from BNB to Jedburgh Group.
To who?
To Jedburgh Group.
Who's that?
It's my company, Your Honor.
Oh,
It's-
so
it's a-
those are your legal fees?
Well, they're not legal fees.
No,
They were
well, yeah,
fees-
no, right. They're not legal fees, right?
Fees for
and you're
surveillance.
entitled to legal fees, not to hire
No,
somebody
actually, that's-
for unlawful practice of law. Okay? So no, you don't get legal fees, and you don't get to keep it for legal fees when you never went and hired a lawyer. It's one way or the other, pals. Go ahead. What were you going to show me? Where are the blocks? I don't see blocks.
On those pictures, there are not
Do you have any pictures
blocks.
that you said? What is the problem? You know I'm not going to let you make a statement to win your case that I'm not going to make you prove. You don't get to just flap your gums in my courtroom. Do you or don't you have a surveillance pictures where cars are on blocks?
So if you move into a place that has existing damage, how do you protect yourself so the landlord doesn't nail you for it when you move out?
I think when you move in and you see damage, for sure let the landlord know first, right away when you get there so that they know that it was there.
So you tell the landlord, and then when you move out 2 years later, the landlord says, "You never told me that." What do you do? Come on, there's an answer to this. Who knows the answer? Anybody? Okay, what's the answer?
We sue the guy.
Nope.
You file a law.
No, come on, guys.
Photograph.
Yes!
Take pictures, right?
Yes. Take a picture and then make sure that it's dated and everything, okay, next to a newspaper. Going inside the courtroom.
I never represented that I had pictures of cars on blocks.
Which of you on that side said there were cars on blocks?
The code enforcement officer told us when he was driving by the residence through the past year, the cars were up on blocks
Did he take
worked.
pictures? Because that's normally what code enforcement does.
Don't know, Your Honor.
Let's talk about what's at play. You have $1,000 in a security deposit, and that other $950 is what?
It's supposed to have been last month's rent.
Right.
Yes.
Why would you ever have any right to that $950 when you
'Cause
ended up staying a couple of days in September?
Well, he doesn't have to. I paid him $950 in rent before I
For
left.
August.
For
Did you-
August.
Right.
So I wasn't really physically in the house.
I don't
was
care.
cleaning the house up and painting.
First of all, that's not
for
even
him.
what you say in
Yeah.
your own complaint. You mentioned that you couldn't move out. Yeah, you had to stay a few extra days. You don't get to stay a few extra days. And it's not prorated either. When you do that, you deprive that side of the opportunity to get somebody in there on September 1st. So that $950 is going to go for the last month's rent. I can tell you that right now, because there are consequences to overstaying and violating the agreement you had in the settlement, and that is that you owe another month's rent. Now let's talk about the $1,000. He is claiming parts of it for the landscaping. Who ended up taking all that garbage that was in the garage out eventually?
The neighbor across the street.
All right, so that you actually paid the neighbor. What did you pay the neighbor? It says $100
Yes.
garage. Is that what you paid the
Yes,
neighbor?
correct.
Okay. And then there are miscellaneous things that you say were broken. Do you have pictures of those?
No, I do not.
Okay. There's the driveway repairs, which you have a hard time proving. I'm satisfied by looking at the pictures of these cracks all over the place that you really have no idea if this, in fact, was done by her son. But in order to keep the money for $1,500 for a driveway, you've got to be able to prove that. You got $1,500 that you're claiming for legal fees, but you never hired a lawyer.
Well, actually, if I could say one more thing.
Yeah.
if the landlord employs an attorney or is forced to take legal action
Yes.
due to tenant's violation, the tenant shall be responsible for all costs and reasonable fees as incurred by
Yes,
the
you
landlord.
are correct that your lease says that there's a provision for legal fees if you have to enforce the lease there. So you are correct that there is a world where if you spend money on a lawyer and or you spent money on filing fees, that's something you should be able to recoup. But the thing is, you didn't have legal fees in this case. Those are legal fees in a different case. That's the actual eviction case. So you would have to go back to eviction court with good reason and say she violated the order, she didn't get out on time, so now I want my legal fees, whatever the court deems to be legal fees. Be real careful, because that judge may also not like the kind of specter smell of hiring a non-lawyer to represent you. But in any event, all right, so what are you getting? The $100 cleanup fee to get the junk out because she admits she never got it. The $125 for the landscaping, then the $75 additional for the landscaping, that's $300. And then also, you know what's funny that you didn't list here, but I am finding that you're entitled to it. You didn't even claim for the thing that is most blaring that you're entitled to, which is the rent, but I'm gonna find that you're entitled to it because she violated the court order, the settlement agreement. So I find that you're entitled to the cleanup fee, the landscaping fee. So I find that you're entitled to deduct $300 from the $1,000, and I find that the plaintiff is entitled to $700. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff does prevail. She's not going to get what she was seeking, but $700 is not bad to get back from her. You got a little lesson in the law here today. What are you thinking?
I think I'm going to have to do better documentation next time.
No question about that. Yeah. And you, sir, should have had better pictures of what you were looking for.
Well, we documented what we were looking for initially, and then the case turned into a damage case. So I think we did okay.
So for the private eye, you learned a lesson too.
Sure.
Good enough. Thank you very much.
Thank
you
you.
must sign some documents, gentlemen. Ms. Davis, Muncie. I'll get it right. All right. So you get $700 back. It's not $2,850 that you were asking for, but you
Yes.
learned a lesson too.
I did. I learned a very good lesson to make sure I continue to document everything while I'm living in someone else's home.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Good lesson to learn. Thank you very much. All right, Harvey.
Okay, I got to tell you something. It is critical when you move in. You're not looking for obvious damage. Look for imperfections, because when you move, believe me, if you move out and there's an imperfection that you didn't notice, landlord's going to dock you for it.